Welcome to your Branch Out podcast, where we explore communication, markets, digital behavior, and business signals shaping Southeast Asia.
Glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, today we are really getting into a major shift in the region because for a long time, the Southeast Asian market was just a volume story.
Oh, absolutely. Pure volume.
Right. If you were an operator or a founder, you just looked at the rising incomes, the urbanization, and you just wanted to acquire users. Treat the whole region as this giant pool of future users.
To give the product away for free and figure it out later.
Exactly. But that era is effectively over. The playbook is breaking down. Today, our mission is to decode what we're calling the new consumer middle class.
Right.
We want to look at how they evaluate value now, how they build trust, and why just going for scale isn't enough anymore.
Yeah, and to really understand that, you kind of have to look at the macroeconomic foundation first.
Set the stage for us a bit.
Sure. So the region just ended a really strong year. We saw a broad-based economic rebound. There's robust global demand.
Which is a great baseline.
It is, yeah. But the foundational signal here, the thing that actually matters for your strategy, is the digital economy itself. It is currently on track to surpass $300 billion in GMV.
Wow. Okay. And just to clarify for everyone listening, GMV, gross merchandise value, that's just the total dollar amount flowing through these digital platforms.
Right, exactly.
And hitting 300 billion, I mean, that tells us this isn't some experimental emerging market anymore.
No, not at all. It's a mature, entrenched ecosystem.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone from about 40 billion in GMV a decade ago to over 300 billion today.
That's massive.
Yeah. 3 in 5 people in Southeast Asia now shop online. Over 60% of all transactions are digital.
But as impressive as that is, that's just what's already happened, right? That's historical.
Exactly. And that's the signal we need to interpret. The most significant milestone isn't actually the 300 billion GMV. It's what happened in 2024. We saw this decisive pivot toward monetization.
The platforms are finally trying to make money.
Right. Revenue is forecast to hit $135 billion. That is an 11.2x increase in a decade.
So the way I kind of see it, it's like a digital gold rush that is suddenly transitioning into city building.
I like that analogy, yeah.
Like, it's no longer just about land grabs and, getting people online. It's about collecting rent.
It's totally about collecting rent now.
The roads are built, and now they're putting up toll booths.
Yeah.
But let me push back on that for a second, because if I'm a local consumer, I hate toll booths.
Of course.
If an app I use every day suddenly introduces higher pricing or tiered offerings, my immediate reaction is friction. I don't want to pay a premium. So how are consumers actually reacting to this?
Well, that's the real implication here. Businesses are finding out that just having a larger middle class with rising incomes, it doesn't mean you get automatic, predictable purchasing.
Right. They're just going to blindly hand over their money.
Exactly. So businesses are suddenly being forced to explain themselves better. The consumer's demanding relevance. They want to see real value before making everyday decisions.
So your communication strategy has to change completely. When it's free, you just need to be loud.
Right.
But when you charge a premium, you have to actually build trust. Which brings us to this massive shift in how people buy things here.
Yeah, the path to purchase is totally fractured now.
It really is. Before a Southeast Asian consumer even looks at your formal, corporate advertising, they're looking somewhere else.
They're looking sideways.
Exactly. They trust creators, peer comments, marketplace ratings, short videos, and maybe most importantly, messaging groups.
Which tells us something deeper about the regional infrastructure. This behavior is so visible in markets where messaging ecosystems remain completely central to daily life.
Like WhatsApp, Line, Zalo.
Right. It's a fundamental shift. We're moving from linear search, where you just type something into a search bar, to a really dynamic AI-powered discovery phase.
So the traditional corporate brand voice it can't operate separately from these organic social behaviors anymore.
It absolutely cannot.
But wait, if I'm a startup founder or a CEO listening to this, if I know my brand is being evaluated in some private WhatsApp group or a TikTok comment section, doesn't that feel like losing total control of the narrative?
It does feel like that, yeah.
I mean, how do you manage a brand when the most trusted signals are completely decentralized?
Well, the reality is that communication has become operational. It's not decorative anymore.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it applies to retail, services, hospitality, B2B platforms.
Yeah.
You have to build credibility within these community channels through your actual operations.
Yeah.
Because trying to just bypass them with traditional top-down advertising,
Just putting up a billboard.
right, doing that just ignores how the modern Southeast Asian consumer actually evaluates risk.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The community is essentially their safety net against a bad purchase.
Exactly.
So that brings up a really core contradiction inside this market, because we sit here and we talk about Southeast Asia as one massive $300 billion entity.
Right, which is a mistake if you stop there.
Yeah, because audience behavior differs wildly across borders. It's kind of like a regional radio broadcast, but every country is tuned to a slightly different frequency.
That is exactly what it is. You can't just broadcast the same trust signals across the region and expect them to resonate everywhere.
Right, so let's break that down country by country because the signals are so different. Like, let's look at Indonesia.
Indonesia rewards scale and accessibility.
Right. If you're everywhere, you're trusted. But then Vietnam is totally different.
Yeah, Vietnam rewards speed and digital adaptation. If you're fast and digital, you're credible.
Okay, but then you look at Thailand, and they reward familiarity and trust continuity. Moving too fast there might actually break trust.
Exactly. They value those long-standing relationships. And then Malaysia rewards linguistic precision and cultural balance.
Tone matters immensely there.
It does.
And what about the Philippines? Because they seem very community-focused.
Heavily. The Philippines rewards relational communication. So community recommendations heavily influence even big household purchases.
But then you contrast that with Singapore.
Right. Singapore rewards consistency and proof.
Hard data.
Yeah. Consumers there expect sharper clarity because platform maturity is just a lot higher.
So the implication for the decision makers listening is really a dual approach. You know, you need regional shared infrastructure to scale like unified payment rails and data standards.
You definitely need that backbone.
Right. But your communication and your professional branding, that has to be hyper-localized.
Right. Because what works as a trust signal in Singapore, like that data-backed proof we just mentioned, that might fail completely in the Philippines.
Where relational, community-backed trust is what actually matters.
Exactly.
So taking this localized, hard-won trust, how does this translate into future opportunities, especially when we move beyond just buying retail goods and get into high-stakes B2B or financial decisions?
Well, this is where we're seeing some really fascinating emerging trends. Look at digital wealth startups right now.
Okay.
They're gaining serious traction by building a customer base purely on price and seamless digital onboarding.
So they don't start with the high-risk stuff.
No, they start with high-yield cash products.
Yeah.
Very low risk, high visibility. They earn trust there. And then they upsell those customers into higher risk portfolios later.
That's a brilliant way to map the trust journey.
It is. And simultaneously, you see digital platforms and these newly licensed virtual banks, especially in Thailand and Malaysia right now.
Oh, right, the virtual banking licenses?
Yeah. They're embedding working capital loans for micro SMEs and drivers right at the point of need.
So if I'm a food stall owner, I can get a loan right through the delivery app I already use every day.
Exactly. Because earning consumer confidence in those early daily interactions is unlocking decisions that go way beyond just daily conveniences.
They already trust you with their daily sales, so they trust you with their capital.
Exactly. And you layer AI on top of this, which the region is highly enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
We're actually surpassing global averages in AI adoption.
Wait, really? That's a huge signal.
Yeah. And early adopters aren't just saving costs. They are reporting greater than 3x ROI from agentic AI and actual top-line business growth from generative AI.
So AI isn't just a back office tool here, it's driving revenue.
Exactly.
So bringing this all together, it seems like the ultimate winners are going to be those who integrate AI to map this new fractured consumer journey, but they also have to simultaneously navigate these fragmented regional regulations and cultural nuances.
That's the key. Technology alone won't win. Localized trust is the real currency.
I think that's the perfect note to land on.
This market is evolving fast, but the real opportunity belongs to those who understand how local trust is built before they try to scale visibility.
That closes our discussion for today. Thank you for listening to Branch Out by Y Consulting, where we examine the signals shaping business across Southeast Asia. Keep watching the signals. We'll speak with you again in the next episode.